Oh my god! I may be a little mentally ill about this stupid haunted bear game. And if you don't believe me, this is my third fucking video about it, and I am also writing a novel stemming from the inspiration of it. This game and its concept is ridiculously great, and I love it. The atmosphere, the animations, the sound design. The subtle environmental storytelling that becomes less subtle. The scares.
Clutch.
And of course, the gameplay loop. Oh, the gameplay loop makes me cream my pants! Yeah, the game's good. Game is very good. This game plays like an anxiety attack, just getting worse and worse. And honestly, it's really making me consider if I'm an adrenaline junkie or not, because that's what this game is sometimes. Adrenaline, the game. This game really makes your choices matter. And I got quite a few things I want to talk about that I'm going to channel into shameless potential neurodivergent nerding out, so allow me to drop the title of what I believe this game does phenomenally. And that is, The Joy of Creation demo is a masterclass of balanced RNG horror. I can already hear everyone screaming at me. What the fuck are you talking about? This game is incredibly RNG based. Drop your pants, fuck you raw, no lube, no chance definition of getting fucked. Trust me, the game is hard. Very hard. But of course it is. It's a demo of the first level of a full game. The difficulty is either going to be increased to make it more enjoyable or last longer, or this actually is the balanced difficulty of the finalized game and it's just a hard game. Either way, this is the RNG that the game has presented to us, and on the surface level, holy fuck is it overstimulating. I am not kidding, I almost threw up at the second time I lost at the hands of Foxy because the game just threw so much at me at once. What ended up happening was Chica was summoned, so I had to hunt for cupcakes, and amidst the panic, the power began dying, which I heard from the buzzing. That fired me up, and then suddenly, out of the blue, Foxy came storming in, setting off every neuron in my brain, and I nearly lose my lunch as I processed 9 different things at once and recovered from a heart attack.
I need a second. Oh my god, so much just happened in such a short amount of time. I actually almost just vomited, oh my god.
Now right now you might be thinking, that win was impossible. That game put me into an unwinnable situation. But here's the twist, fellas. I put myself into that unwinnable situation. The game wasn't at fault. This was entirely my doing. I signed my fate by putting myself in this unwinnable situation. When it comes to determining your win for this game, I'm gonna absolutely blow all your guys' minds. Y'all ready? It's not RNG based.
No! I want to live! I want to live!
Well, let me rephrase that. Your win isn't determined by what number is rolled by the RNG. This game is RNG based, let's be real, every game is down to its core, but the aim of the game is to combat that RNG. No fucking duh. Not directly once it happens, but to prepare for it. This game isn't just going to roll the dice and say, okay, you die, sick Foxy in like a rabid dog, game over, back to the start of the level, GG. Unless you didn't prepare for it. The entire point of the game is to constantly juggle multiple assignments thrown at you at once. Find the bear, blind it 12 times,
Divine light.
make the clock go round. That's the win condition, and while doing this, you need to watch Foxy, replace the main fuse when it drains, and Ash baby Chica's children. Also, don't mistake Bonnie for Freddy like I did one time. You need incredible foresight. Everything in this game is working against you. You constantly need to be one step ahead, either mentally by prioritizing or physically by holding a fuse in your hand or not. Do you want to check cameras now to send away Foxy, or do you want to gamble the 10 hiding spaces for the 2 fuse chances just to have one in your hand? How will that affect you now or in the future? This game is all about planning ahead and really playing your cards right, and one wrong play, fuck even 3 to 5 minutes ago, could be the run ender. Frankly, that's what makes this game so goddamn terrifying, as it constantly makes you go, oh god, will that bite me in the ass later? Or will I have time? Seriously, I have Foxy PTSD. The game is trial and error. Every loss is based on what action you take then and have taken now. That's what makes losing to this game much more punishing, because there's literally nothing to blame but yourself. Sure, there are people who will immediately target their rage towards the RNG in the heat of the moment, but really, what they should be saying is, what could I have done differently to prevent that? Everyone keep your pants on and your dicks in your underwear, because I'm going to shrivel it into the size of a raisin as I hold your hands when I say this, Everything is your fault. Every situation is winnable if you prepare for it. You gotta think ahead when playing this game, and you have to do it constantly. Play ahead of the game. Play ahead of it. Be prepared. But also, be prepared to improvise as well. You don't know when your method will have to suddenly change. There is a lot you gotta think about at once and process on the fly. This entire section from before, I probably could have survived that if I was wiser and thought about this potential outcome. I should have replaced the main breaker so the power didn't begin to die, and I should have been considering Foxy more, leaving me to freely find Chica's cupcakes. If I would have thought about those things earlier, I would have been fine, but instead, I played my cards wrong because I didn't think about the RNG. Okay, but nobody is a prophet. Let's throw us into a hypothetical situation. Chica spawned and you fend her off. 1, 2, 3, cupcakes gone. But, oh no, your flashlight dies. Lucky for you, amidst filing your abortion papers, you found a fuse. But, why am I suddenly so uneasy as I approach the breaker box? Oh yeah, Bonnie right hooked one of the cameras. But the flashlight is dead. Let me recharge that. Okay, now to check for Foxy. Oh look, Freddy! Peekaboo! Well, that takes care of him. Now to find Foxy. Wait, can't find him. Oh right, one of the cameras is dead. But wait, you just used that fuse to recharge your flashlight to recover from Chica and left that camera off, which means... You played your cards wrong because you didn't think about the RNG. Foxy's patience is vicious, and you are much more patient than he is, which resulted in his hook in your ass. But my flashlight was dead because I was fighting off Chica. I had to recharge it. But you just got rid of her. She isn't a threat for now. You reset her RNG timer. You have time. But Freddy was out in the hallway. I need to catch him in order to win the game. Hard to do that when there's a hook in your ass. You can ignore Freddy. He'll come back. You can fetch another fuse real fast to fix the camera. But instead of hunting for a fuse, you decided to blind him. And prior to this, you could have used that fuse for your flashlight on the camera and caught Foxy and saved yourself the run. See what I mean? The RNG is loose enough for you to make corrections, but tight enough to keep the tension going and pressure you to make those corrections, where if you do slip up during the slight little window of correction, then good luck recovering. It is phenomenally balanced. It may not feel like it sometimes, don't get me wrong. I've seen many people play the game and get pissed and railed raw by RNG. But that's entirely because of how they played their cards. Not judging either. Believe me, it is a hard system to discover and nail down. I just got really lucky. Or I need to touch grass. Each time you switch a fuse, each time you flip through a camera, each flip of a decision and on-the-spot change of a plan is you playing a card. The entire game is about beating the system, and I fucking love it. Good RNG does exist, and I don't mean when you roll a high number. I mean when you understand the risks and take them while you know what to expect, prepare, or will prepare for them. And I think it's time to address a metaphor I've been utilizing throughout this entire script. You probably picked up on me referring to a decision made by the players as playing their cards, and would you believe it or not, that's exactly what The Joy of Creation is. One giant card game. Think of it like a poker game, or just any card game. You have your own hand, i.e. the utilities the game provides you, and your own wits, knowledge, and decisions, and the game has its own hand, essentially what it throws at you, and in the deck is content that the game has yet to offer to both of you, but as it progresses, slowly and steadily feeding to both of your hands. For the game, it's attacks, like Foxy, Bonnie blocking the camera, or spawning Chica. For you, your defenses, like fuses that you've yet to find, or one that is already in your hand, or how many charges are in your flashlight. I'll use Chica for example. The card is played, but in your own hand you have a fully charged flashlight. You play it, fending away Chica's card, finding all of her cupcakes. Now that the game has played the card, it's at the bottom of the deck and has to do that rotation again, meaning it's going to take a bit before it'll resurface back to the top, back into its hand to be primed to play against it again. It will get back into the hands of the game eventually, primed and ready, you don't know when, but you know it is dealt with now and for a little bit of time. Enough breathing time for you to know she isn't a threat, to not worry about the RNG until later begins coming, then you start worrying about her some more because you know that card has reached the top of the deck through some other cycles, like Foxy, and is now back in the hands of the game ready to be played. You just don't know when it'll be. So you prepare by getting your flashlight recharged and ready. All you can see is what is in your hand. You can't see what is in their hand until they play, but you can guess. There are only so many cards in the deck. This is when the decision making starts coming into play because obviously the game has more cards than just Chica. It has Foxy, it has a power, it has Bonnie, and of course you have your own hand that you need to maintain and keep order and strategize to keep ahead. So let's say it's been too long and you fear Chica is coming soon, aka her play is in the game's hand waiting to be dropped. You use a fuse on the main power to not game over, leaving your flashlight at 5 charges instead of a full one, leaving you anxious if that decision was the right one. Remember, it's one big decision game. You scan the cameras out of Foxy PTSD and you discover Freddy on the cameras and you need him in order to progress the time and win the game. And of course, the game gives you the decision to catch Freddy at the cost of a flashlight charge or ignore him. Would that one charge sacrifice screw you over in case Chica has one extra cupcake than you were expecting, leaving you to scramble to look for another fuse and waste time dying to her, or leaving you dead for Foxy and completely fall the entire strategy apart? Decisions, decisions, decisions. You decide to ignore Freddy, he isn't important, and guess what? Chica spawns and guess how many cupcakes there were? 5. The exact amount in your flashlight, meaning you weren't one short and wasting time looking for a fuse and recharging it. Not putting yourself in danger of both Chica and Foxy, who, at that point, if you were looking, for sure would have spawned and ambushed. But since you decided to ignore Freddy, you can immediately hop on the cameras, catch Foxy in the act right after Chica, vaporize him. Now you have time for a fuse, hunt for your flashlight in all 10 hiding spaces, and you found one. Main power's halfway? Could use it for that, but you got time. But what if I need the flashlight charges on Chica instead of Freddy again? But you've already dealt with Chica a few moments ago. You have reset her RNG timer to your liking. It's in the deck. You can comfortably replace that fuse in the flashlight and get Freddy's ass and commence the time. And you don't have to stress about Foxy either because you just dealt with him immediately after Chica. You're in control of when that dice drops now. And although you may not be the one rolling the numbers on the dice yourself, you're the one telling them when to roll the dice this time. But do keep in mind this won't last forever. Again, the game can and will throw in a wild card that'll force you to improvise. Usually either you miscalculated or an off decision you made resulted in that outcome. But really, this will show you just how fantastic the horror is with this tight RNG. You're not the only one with a sleight of hand. The game will throw one too, or maybe you slipped up. That's when the real game rears its head and the adrenaline flies. I once had the power flickering, Foxy on cameras, and Chica with 5 cupcakes hiding in my office, and I thought I was good as dead. In fact, I was so confident that I lost, I gave Chica a big ol' smooch and it didn't register killing me. Yet somehow, I gambled finding fuses in hiding places, told Foxy to fuck off, aborted Chica's children in the time frame of her patience, and prevented Freddy from Torador marching my ass into hell. Needless to say, my heart was racing and I was fucking heaving.
Did you guys want to hear my Panic at the Disco impression?
The game doesn't feel like it gives you enough time in situations when you probably do. Even during times that you know you have time, you just have that itching, creeping feeling that you just do not, because the timing that you need to prepare and control is so goddamn tight. And it is great. It is heart-pounding. It just hits you with adrenaline-pounding dread of something about to go wrong. That something that the game is going to take advantage of. That underlining itch that the game has left some ace in the hole up its sleeve that you didn't foresee or prepare for in this fucked up card game, and you are left paranoid. Because I don't think I can verbally do it justice, I think it's best if I just show you the inner machinations of my mind and how it functions throughout a round of this game. Using visuals, I'm going to play you the last 2 hours of a game I was put through, and you can see firsthand just what I mean by how this card game works. Place your bets on if I survive the encounter or not, fellas, and maybe take a shot for how many times Foxy infects my brains like a parasite. Seriously, defending myself at this point from him is practically a trauma response. Foxy. I'm being restless.
being restless about, but I'm being restless. The amount of fucking fuses down there. Oh, give me that. Foxy. No. I see you in there, Bonnie. Flashlight. Oh god, that one camera. I should have done the main breaker. Foxy. Yep. Are you kidding me? Yep, I know. Chica's gonna show up in a second. God, Foxy. No. Fuck you, Chica.
The hell is that?
Didn't fucking need to do Chica. Almost thought about doing it just for the game, or for the footage. But I didn't need to. I didn't want to risk it. I didn't know how much flashlight charges I had, and I didn't want to botch the run.
Alright, I'm sorry. I just keep sucking this game's dick, but you're eventually gonna taste the salt of that sausage. So, I'll talk about the very, very minor gripes I have with it, just to balance out the everything I rambled about. When it comes to issues, I barely have any, and anything negative I do have to say about the game has literally nothing to do with the RNG, and was so minute that they actually have been fixed already shortly after launch. For starters, the game does not hold your hand when you first begin, to the point that punishing you for it is kind of unfair, but I get it, that's the point. That's not the complaint I'm making. You're meant to just be thrown to the wolves and learn on your own with hints. That's the entire gist of the game, and it's fantastic. It's a trial and error game. My complaint at the time was with this discreet way of communicating was with the flashlight. This already has been fixed, but I and so many others for the life of me could not figure out how to replenish the charge on our flashlights. Literally the only thing that made me realize I had to raw dog a fucking fuse into it was because I saw the tiniest little detail of it being ever so slightly transparent
and saw the fuse inside of its body. Wait, no, I think I see it. Oh my god, I think I see it. That was a great eureka moment, but fuck man, that was not okay. That took way too long. Especially since everything else interactable within the box had a noise stinger and a light to indicate interaction. The flashlight did not. This since has been updated and it now follows the same rules as everything else in the fuse box, and we are properly told directly that it is our flashlight to be recharged, but good Christ. Also, the inputs are slow. I'm weaseling it in here because it feels like it's a complaint, but I don't think it should be. I think it's by design. Anytime you'll be opening a drawer, cabinet, hell, even entering and exiting cameras, you'll be spamming the inputs. Fuck, you can hear me spamming the keyboard in some footage, and you can absolutely hear it in other playthroughs. It's very dragging for a very snappy game with snappy animations. Whether by design or not, I think it works out. It just makes you tight your ass cheeks more as you're stuck in animation, impatiently spamming the keys as if that'll increase the speed, knowing very well it won't, but you can gaslight yourself into thinking it might. That feels like it should be a complaint, and to some people it might, which is why it's here, but to me, I'm not labeling that as a problem, as I'm pretty sure that was by design. Alright, this next thing is not an issue of my own, but I definitely think would be beneficial for people who do have a problem with it. The flashing lights. I don't have a problem with flashing lights, but I think the game relies a little too heavily on it to make its encounters with the antagonist super disorienting. Not to criticize the art of the visuals, trust me, it looks fantastic. There is absolutely nothing wrong with smoke and mirrors to pull off a trick and do something cool. It's layers, every art piece has them, but if it's potentially harmful to someone to the point that it's a guaranteed constant interaction that they just cannot engage with the game and avoid it, it's kind of bumming for those curious about the game with those problems that they can't interact with it, period. The game does acknowledge it, bravo, I'm glad, but holy fuck, there is a lot. Every time you flash Freddy, my fucking eyes. Every time you change a camera, a flashbang goes off in my room. I'm out here flashing Foxy, but he's also out here flashing my ass! The darkness to brightness ratio can potentially be dizzying after long playthroughs. I think a solution to this would be, just before the game starts, have an option at the very beginning asking the player if they have trouble with flashing lights or are photosensitive. If they answer no, the gameplay is exactly the same. None of the visuals are affected, and people are free to fry their eyes consensually. But for people who click yes, the flashing lights are instead substituted for something digestible or easier on the eyes. Maybe instead of rapidly flashing and strobing, they just fade in, or maybe something more creative. Maybe instead of rapidly flickering when Freddy roars at you when you catch him, the light just stays red. When you get caught by Foxy or Chica, it could remove the visual static buzz and keep the lighting, just remove the flickering. Maybe when you turn on the cameras, instead of socking your retinas with a punch of white when the monitor turns on, the monitor just quickly fades in enough to have your eyes adjust. Everything is the same, just easier on the eyes if you want it, and for the photosensitive people who do need it. However, with how much the game relies on visual trickery to move the characters and keeping the aesthetic, the potential of them doing this is maybe unlikely. I just think this would be a neat idea just to make the game much more accessible to others and let the people who are curious about the game with these light sensitivities play it or watch it in peace and sigh a breath of relief without having to worry about getting themselves harmed. Again, I love the current visuals. It's gritty, it fits the aesthetic, and it's like a spicy eye candy. But this complaint isn't about me, and I shouldn't be speaking for other people, but this was an idea that crossed my mind just to potentially make it a little more accessible for other people to enjoy. And if they are actually doing this behind the scenes and it was just for some reason excluded for the demo, for whatever reason, I applaud. Also, maybe check the optimization. Oh, my game crashed. Sometimes after dying or just continuing, the game just crashes indiscriminately. It just does, and I have a 3070, if that matters. Hasn't done that recently, but maybe have that under your radar. And that kind of covers it for problems, and half of them weren't even problems of my own. I didn't encounter any bugs when the game first launched, and all what I mentioned aren't even problems of mine, but just concerns for others. Every problem that did occur was at launch, and has been hotfixed, and again, everything else is very diegetic with how it tells you and how to defend yourself. Super immersive and fantastic. Well, maybe too immersive, because seriously watching Markiplier's playthrough was like having my molars being pulled out of my gums. He did everything right, absolutely everything except one thing. He completely ignored the window. How? How do you miss such a core gameplay mechanic? Everyone else I've seen play this game understood the assignment, and then you watch Mark and it's just Yeah, that window doesn't exist. That didn't stop him from beating it, though. He played a very wild-ass game of poker here. King of FNAF, baby. The only man to miss a core gameplay mechanic and still win with a sleight of hand. God, I love you, Mark. Never change. But that's why I love this game, because really, if you look at how Mark played, he really just played cards without even realizing it. He just ignored Freddy, saving himself flashlight charges for situations that called for it. You can play your cards however way you want, but in the end, you will pick up a rhythm that will have you either battling for first place with the RNG, constantly on your toes, or competing to gain the upper hand against it, only for it to surprise you and hit you with the biggest adrenaline rush in the history of adrenaline rushes, because either the game pulled a fast one on you, or the game took advantage of a decision that you made. And that's what makes this game so fucking scary, balanced, and fantastic. I know that this is more of an opinion-based nerd out video than an actual video essay, but frankly, I don't care. I just wanted to share why I absolutely love this game, how it plays, and just how excited I am for the full release of it. Seriously, I need the full game of this, like, yesterday. The footage I've been seeing is ridiculous, and you bet your ass I'll be playing the full thing on my channel. The Joy of Creation, both versions for its concept, seriously really has inspired me, and I cannot appreciate it enough. If you somehow did learn anything from this and want to use it, power to you, good luck. Now look, everyone plays cards differently. I completely get that. You may beat the game in 20 minutes. Shit, you may even beat it in an hour. But that's entirely how the game lays out its cards and you fight back and vice versa. There's no wrong way to fight back so long as you reach the goal. What matters is that no matter how many tries, no matter how long, you made the clock go round. Hope you guys like this different style of video I tried dipping my toes in, and hey, if you want to see me come to this realization of playstyle I've come to in this video, then you can check out where I actually beat the demo in the span of 2 videos. Seriously, this game is super fun and fair, and you can watch in real time as I connect the dots on how to fight back against the RNG of the game. The Joy of Creation means a lot to me, as you can tell, so it means just as much that you guys for some reason stuck around to listen to my rambling. If you were here just for that and that alone with this one video, I hope you enjoyed, and it was great having you stick around. For the people who are at all curious with what else I do, then you are free to stick around, and I will see you in the next upload, whenever that'll be.